Good morning, folks. It's Cynthia here with your tarot card of the day. This week we are using the Herb Crafter's Tarot, and I have it written up in the description box below if you want some more information. I know a lot of readers usually take flippers that come out of the deck, cards that flip or shoot out. Once in a while I do, but more often than not, I like to shuffle and take my top card. I follow my spirit guide's instructions. They'll tell me when to shuffle, how many times to shuffle, cut the deck, don't cut the deck, how many times do I cut the deck. I just follow along. Okay. Yeah. All right. There you have it. Oh, Ace of Air, Yarrow. You know, they used to use yarrow sticks when casting for the I Ching or Book of Changes. They would use dried out yarrow sticks. So here in this beautiful card, we can see the yarrow growing wild at the edges along the fence line, this barbed wire fence. Ace of Air, Ace of Swords. Came in reversed. In many traditional cards, the sword is usually pointed upward. There's a crown and some laurel vines, I believe, coming off of it. And this card, it's like the forgotten edges. Great medicine, the yarrow. Definitely soothing to the soul and to the heart and mind, and bringing a certain amount of clarity, indeed. The barbed wire fence, although putting up a border, can definitely be aggressive and cause harm if not used properly or if not seen. Less about the barbed wire, it's more about the edges and the fence line, I think. Although because it's the Ace of Air and the swords, and again, sometimes when we get to the edges of our understanding, we just feel more comfortable staying here, because who wants to try and cut through that crap in order to expand or explore? And yet the medicine of the yarrow is saying, you know what? It's okay. You can take it down. It's all right. It offers some kind of soothing, some kind of clarity that allows us to push a bit farther out of the comfort zone and to cut through those things that we're afraid might hurt us. Or if I change my boundaries, or if I change my mind, or if I shift my perspective and my position, then somehow my entire history is invalidated. And, you know, that's madness. People aren't going to know who I am. And no, that kind of the limiting beliefs, the limiting thoughts, the internal monologue that tries to keep us smaller rather than getting us excited about venturing out, This could be the energy of today. The Ace of Swords, the Ace of Air, the Yarrow. It could really be talking about, okay, so now you're at this place, something might show up where do you have clarity? Are you willing to stretch your boundaries? Are you willing to open up your mind and see another perspective? Doesn't mean you have to change your mind. Doesn't mean you have to change your decision. It may mean that you shift your approach because now you understand another facet of the situation or a person. So you might respond differently or communicate differently, even if even if you haven't changed your mind, even if you haven't changed your stance, you might approach the situation differently. Instead of getting defensive or authoritarian, you might turn around and be a bit more diplomatic because now you understand where the other person is coming from, and or that other end of the situation or that particular consequence, or why that person said, no to the offer that you gave them. That's okay. That's okay. But seeing something a little bit differently, letting yourself stretch, tackling some of these limiting beliefs or misunderstandings, gaining a little bit more clarity. There could also be things that come up today that really let you know, like, hey, you need to decompress, you need to de-stress. There's this thing that's been dogging you and you've been trying, but you've been repressing it or pushing it down. You haven't really been trying to process it. And so you might need to give yourself an opportunity to really sit with what's uncomfortable so that it dissolves, so that you can let it go, right? Happened to me not long ago. I was getting ready. I felt, as far as mood and stress level and everything like that was concerned, I felt pretty good, and thought that I had been for, a while. And there were moments, throughout the day where maybe I was a little bit quick to get frustrated with certain things, and I'd have to take my deep breath and then either like let it go or, really sit and try and communicate clearly in order to get through a thing. So we all have our moments during our days, but like overall, I was feeling pretty good. Or those quiet moments when, a song pop up on the radio and it would bring up a memory, and then I would have some emotions, and then I'd be like, okay, but I'm in the middle of something, so I'm just going to turn off the radio and, reset myself real quick, deep breath, good, and keep going, right? But what I didn't realize is that there was actually a huge buildup of emotions behind all of that. And I didn't think that I was ignoring anything. I didn't think that I was intentionally repressing something or pushing down certain emotions or anything like that. But one night I laid down to go to sleep, and the physical pain that came from tension, anxiety, like I was having a severe anxiety attack. And I got up and I put on, I asked myself, what is this? Is this really my sadness? I didn't think that I was sad. And I put on a sad song playlist that I have, and I just let myself bawl my eyes out. 30 minutes later, I stopped, felt great, laid down, slept like a baby. So to a certain extent, the reason that I shared that with you, honestly, is because to a certain extent, sometimes we don't know how much stress we have because we think that we're handling it because we're using our coping strategies or our tools, but we're actually just kind of, we keep shoving it in that closet and pushing the door closed. And then one day the door won't close all the way and you have to like wedge a chair in front of it or something. When really you just have to open up that closet and unpack some stuff. And we don't always realize it until we get a physical symptom that that's what we've been doing. And sometimes we just have to let our emotions go. We need to just feel them, whether it's the anger or the frustration or the sadness or whatever it is. We just need to let it go. And then it's done. And then it's done. And we can go back to using our skills, our processing skills, our integration skills, our coping mechanisms, whatever it is that we have to use, using our tools, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that we have to do, we get back to doing it. But sometimes the emotions just have to come out. And so I think that this Ace of Swords is kind of bringing up that clarity, especially with the yarrow here, talking about the soothing of the emotions and the soothing of the mind and the de-stress. So whatever you need to do, there could be things that come up today that's really just talking about de-stressing, detoxing, but detoxing the mind. It might not be the physical body. It could literally be talking about tackling some of those limiting beliefs, becoming more self-aware of the internal monologue. Not saying I have to force myself to say my affirmations and feel good. No. But when something naturally comes up, stop yourself and be like, wait a minute, that didn't feel very nice. Why would I say that to myself? And then just stop for a minute and be like, how can I express that better? Or why do I believe that? Looking at the things that we might be holding on to that are keeping us small. And we might need to, so today's energy could definitely be bringing up either de-stress, moving through your emotions in order to gain clarity. It can also be bringing up tackling some of those limiting beliefs or that internal monologue, not skipping over it and trying to reverse it, but really sitting with it and trying to feel something different. I don't like that. So I'm not just going to change the sentence and think that it makes it all better. I'm going to sit there and say, why would I think that about myself? Or why do I have to think that? Because that's not serving me. It's not lining up with what I really want to do, or what I really want to feel. This is how I'd rather feel. So how do I get from here to there? Right? What about this do I need to realize is false in order for me to let go of that? And what about that I really want is believable, that I can really get behind and start embracing that way of thinking, or that way of feeling, or that way of talking to myself? So could be some exercises in self-love, self-respect, self-trust, and could be some exercises in, that self-confidence, breaking from some of those boundaries, recognizing that you'll be okay if you cut through some of those wires and soothe yourself and start to stretch one step at a time, across that boundary, across that challenge line. You don't have to keep yourself cowed in. You can actually stretch a little bit. So with that, Ace of Air, Ace of Swords, Yarrow. I wish you all a beautiful day. Peace and blessings. May clarity and strength and wisdom be yours. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you again for being here with me.